Morning, welcome to the video. So it's Friday the 12th, which is a little bit different to normally being the Monday. However, this week hasn't really gone to plan. Half the footage just doesn't seem to exist for some reason. So all I've got is some little random bits which on their own won't make sense. So it's Friday, sun's out, a bit frosty, but sun's out, lovely blue sky. And I'm currently not working today. Well, I'm not working today, and that is because we are going to a wedding. So the plan is to basically, because it's a mowing week, is to take the 4 days of mowing, Tuesday to Friday, move them forwards from Monday to Thursday, and then Friday was the wedding. The plan was to do a little local lawn care job, a little aeration or something in the morning before the wedding, just to make use of the good weather. However, my son was sent home from nursery yesterday for being ill, which he absolutely wasn't. And if you know anything about nurseries, they'll send them home for absolutely no reason. So my wife is currently trying to get him back in this morning. If she doesn't, then because it's my wife's friend who's getting married, I'm going to have to stay at home and look after him. So although I had scheduled some work for today, I hadn't actually booked it in, and then last night when I was going to confirm it with the client, I was like, actually I don't even know if I can. So that was that. So I'm just waiting to hear back. So currently I'm just up at the container, just emptying the van because it's been so wet this week. Everything in the van is absolutely saturated, so I just need to get it out and get it aired as best I can. I've also got a couple of repairs to do, or certainly one in particular that you will see because I did film that. And so anyways, I'll start the video now, and then I'll cut back in a minute. Morning, welcome to the video. It is Monday the 7th of October. I've just been to one house, just got that done. That's the lady who passed away. So as I said, the family want me to continue cutting that grass, so I guess I'll be doing that until certainly the end of the year. We're now on the lawn I did last week. If you remember, it had its essentially its first cut. I'll show you that now. So if you remember what it did look like, it has very much greened up again as I expected it to. We've got some very lush sort of patches in there, so all we're going to do is run the Hater 56 over and get sort of a form of stripe in there now. It has just, although the sun shines out, we did have about 10 minutes of very heavy rain just pass through, and I think pretty much today and tomorrow that is pretty much what the weather is just sunshine and showers, which is better than just consistent rain. So I don't think there'll be any lawn care today, and certainly not tomorrow, just because of the showers keep coming in and coming out, and I suspect there'll be hard showers too. So yeah, so I'll get this all cut up and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So that was Monday, usually a Tuesday, and for some reason that's the only bit of content I've got. So so I can't show you what that lawn looked like, and the other stuff I did, can't show you that either. So now what we're going to do is fast forward to Wednesday. Now Wednesday changed very dramatically due to one client having a bit of a moment, which they now very much regret, and I will explain that in a bit. So here we are at second lawn of the day, and this is, well, due to the rain, it is very wet, it's very long and quite leafy too. So yeah, just going to go around the strimmer first, edge it all up, and then blow it all into the middle and bag it with a mower, of course. Okay, so grass is pretty long, so what I've done is I've gone over it and I've basically cut it down in half, if you like. And then what I'm going to do is, as you can see here, is I've then just dropped it down a bit more. I don't want to scalp it, I don't want to take it down too low, but I do want to give it sort of a nicer finish. So yeah, so that's where we are. We've dropped it down, and then actually I'm going to aerate, so I'm just going to do some solid tine aeration once this is all done. But for the minute I'm just going to scrape. As you can see, the tyres here, they're obviously not cutting a true sort of height, if you like, because they're, you know, a couple of feet off, a couple of mil off the ground there. So we're just going to scrape the tyres off, and that will just mean that we can cut that little bit lower on the setting that I'm on, and then clean the deck out as well, just so we can get some more airflow, and it's just going to bag better, because I imagine it will be completely bunged up. I've never thought much of the Time Master's bagging capabilities. I think it's really good as a mulching mower or a side discharge, but yeah, it's better because they have changed the blades, and the blades are a little bit more high lifty, if that's a phrase, but yeah, so it's steady as you go when bagging. Okay, so look at it coming off the roof. So I think I'll sit this rain shower out. It's been a bit like this all morning. Right, well I will we have a cup of coffee now, and let this pass. I'll tell you what, it's if it's not weather, if it's not machinery, if it's not the van, then it's clients, isn't it? It's just constant. It's just a constant battle. I've never known it like this. You can cope with one element, but all of them at the same time, week in, week out. So with this rain, the lawn that normally takes me about an hour and a half took well over 2, with rain delays. And of course it's now Tuesday afternoon, and I've only had just a client being a bit of a annoying so far this week. I haven't had any breakdowns, so I've had weather, client, and sure enough, here's our mechanical. So I've got 1, 2, 3 strips into a lawn. Actually I've done 3 on the other side as well, so 6 strips in. And that's where we are. I don't know why bother. Okay, so there we go. So it's been cut, it's been fed. This has taken 4.5 hours with rain breaks and the 3 or 6 strips of aeration as well. I'm sick of the weather, I'm sick of people, I'm sick of this job. So you would have heard me moaning about a client, and this is the story on that. So it's a client I've had for maybe 3 years now, so it's a fortnightly mow, and I've done quite a few different things, hedging, etc, etc, and there's always been an issue. Basically, I can't get her to understand that the mowing is a fixed price. She just doesn't get it, and with everything else, pricing, etc, 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 she's just an absolute pain. However, she's in a road where I have many clients, and she's there, and it's convenient, and when it works well, and when she's not there, it's amazing, because I can just go about my business, and you know, she can't fault my work, she just cannot comprehend a fixed pricing method. And so anyway, so that's that, and I sent her my invoice last month, and she had looked at it, and she had decided that I had overcharged her, and that she was not going to be paying the full price. So I'll tell you now that she paid me £85. So this was for a bit of hedging, not a massive, not an all-dayer, not even a half a dayer or whatever, but she paid me £85. The invoice was for £92.50. So that, for those of you who haven't done the maths, that's £7.50 that she decided that I wasn't entitled to. So I thought long and hard about this. It's like, what do I do about this? It's £7.50 is just, it's a piss take, isn't it? It's I don't even know what to say about it. It's just ridiculous. So essentially, I messaged her and I said, don't worry about the £7.50. You can keep that, but equally you can also find somebody else to take care of your garden. And I left it at that. And she tried to contact me multiple times, leaving me messages, sending me emails, etc, etc, and I deleted them all. But every time she messaged me, I also checked my bank account, because as far as I'm concerned, the relationship there is done. The only thing that is going to right it is if she pays what I'm owed. And conveniently, the night before I was due in, the £7.50 was paid. The only thing is that I would have notified her had I been given the opportunity. I would have notified her that actually I was going in the day earlier. So so by the time she had paid, I couldn't go back anyway. So there we are. So I sent her an email to say thank you for the money, my money, and I told her that I would no longer be doing any hedge cutting or anything along those lines. I said, however, and I suggest you start to look for somebody else. I said, however, I will carry on with the grass and the leaves for the rest of the year. So it's only going to be 4 visits, just to give you some time to find someone else, which I think's fair. A lot of people have told me that that's ridiculous, I shouldn't do that, but hey, what can I say? You just do what you feel comfortable with, and I don't want to leave her in the lurch. But she's learned her lesson already. That's not how you treat people, and it's such a stupid little number, but for me it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Anyway, so that's that. So that's what I meant by that. So yesterday was a good day. So Thursday, normally a Friday, you'll see that now, or you'll see certainly one of them of that, and then we'll go back to the future, if that makes sense, to where we are now. We are at the usual Thursday job. If you remember last week, the extension's being done, so the lawn's kind of out of action. I will kind of like eventually sort of go around it and just sort of keep it down and keep it tidy, but obviously there's no sense in striping it or anything. So we're just on a little job here, just in the car park. Did this at the start of the year, actually, when they first moved in. I cut all this back, so it's just sort of encroaching, and currently, while the drive at the front of the house is kind of completely out of action, actually space is really vital. So I'm going to take a few of these branches off. I've not got the extension bar, but I've got the long handled saw, so whatever I can reach, basically, it's going to make a difference, and because it's not going to be long, it's going to be clattering the van every time I come in, and then just cut sort of a bit of this back to the fence post, etc, etc, and then there's loads of sort of brambles coming over. So yeah, just have a good tidy up. Still Wednesday. I don't think I filmed what it ended up looking like. I'll have to show you that one next week. But here we are on the last lawn on normal Thursday. So this is it, looking pretty green, pretty lush. That was last week's stripes. If you remember, I haven't done any autumn lawn care here because there was talk of all these trees at the back being in half, this one coming out, that one in the corner coming out, that one being in that corner being trimmed back, etc, etc. So I didn't want to top dress, overseed, do all of that, and then there's 2 days of trees being dragged through, basically damaging all the work that I've done. So I've been trying to hold off, but nothing seems to be happening. So what I am going to do is I'm going to feed the lawn, if nothing else. There's a bit of moss creeping in now because obviously so much shade, so I want to get that done today. And normally the gardener's here when I'm here, and she's a little bit odd, and I think she would self-combust if she knew that I was putting fertiliser on the lawn, whether it was organic or not. She's just one of those types. So as I'm here on the Wednesday, I'm going to do that now, and then I'll probably look to aerate when I get an opportunity, and then there's a few areas which could do with just almost like divoting, if you like, and then kind of do the bare minimum, if you like, and then over the winter hopefully the trees will all come out, and then in the springtime then we'll proper go for it. I don't know if you can see this sort of sunken bit here. It's I'd say that's the, can you see with my hand? I'd say there's a from here to here, there's a good 2 inches, like tunnel, like a dip. So I'd love to get that filled in as well. But of course there's no sense in doing that if we're not going to do everything. So yeah, so it's a side-to-side cut today. Just setting 3 on the hater. I've already been round. The leaves haven't really started to drop too much. This is really that's a week's worth of leaves that have come down. So not too bad. There's obviously plenty more to come. But bearing in mind we are in October, it's not far away. Although they have had their tree sort of pruned up a little bit, so that will prevent or reduce a few more leaves coming. So that's very kind of them. It's that oak tree over there that will keep coming. Everything else I think will come down quite quickly when it starts to come. Okay, all striped up and fed. So I think it's 8% iron in this feed, so that should green it up really nicely. Okay, so this is Friday, lawn's on a Thursday, and this is the second lawn of the day. If you remember last week we scarified this, so put it down and scarified it, so you can see now, just put a diagonal stripe in. That's what I used to do for the previous clients. And yeah, it's sort of coming back nicely. Remember this has been cut down, scarified and fed. So yeah, not bad. Also, the week before I seeded sort of some bad areas, so that you can see it looks a bit sparse there, but if because I'm above it, but you can see all the new growth coming through, so that will thicken up nicely. If you remember, there was 2 burn patches there, so that's all coming in lovely. That's all new grass. That was from, I can only assume, the guys who jet washed the patio. They spilt bleach all over it because they weren't there before. And then there was these 2 as well. So there's one patch coming in nicely. Again, this is 2 weeks. Well, actually it's less than 2 weeks, isn't it? So that's 13 days of germination and growth. So pretty good. And that was just a little bit of topsoil and seed mixed together, making sort of a bit of a divot mix. And scratched out the rubbish and just filled it in. So yeah, not bad. The back was quite leafy because we did so much work to the front last week. We didn't have time to do anything at the back, to be honest. So I've cut that. Was more of a leaf clearance job today. So what I tend to do is go, you can really see this lawn is that this garden's great for leaf clearance if that's what you're into, because it starts dropping its leaves now and then it doesn't stop. That liquid amber in the distance, that is my favourite tree. I love it. The colour is amazing. So I've just gone round and round today because I was collecting the leaves, so I've done it on a little higher setting. Next week I'll put these straight up and down stripes back in. But yeah, if you look at the leaves, these will all come down. That maple, is it? I'm not sure. That will come down, and then once they're down, then you'll get the silver birches, and the oaks will still be thinking about it. So it's these leaves will now drop from now all the way through to January, maybe even a little bit further, because these oaks hang on forever. So it's just going to be sheer leaf clearance now in the back. So yeah, pretty pleased, pretty tidy. And now we're back to Friday. And if you remember, the belt snapped on the aerator. Now, it has happened once before, and actually I caught it on video in one of my vlogs, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe. Anyways, so that was Tuesday afternoon. Spoke to the guys at Cammon, and then said belt arrived yesterday afternoon. So now, while I'm still waiting to find out whether they've allowed my son back into primary school or not, sorry, into nursery, it seems like a good thing to do to put it on now. So this is essentially it. It sort of goes here and goes here. sort of a bit of a faff to get to it, because you've got to take the cage, the top bit off, and then it makes it easier to take the side bit off there. So there's a few nuts and I say nuts and bolts, they're just bolts. So actually there isn't any nuts at all, apart from this longer one here. And sometimes it's easier just to take the wheel off, so you can access that one and that one there. So thank you to the guys at Cammon for getting that belt out so quickly to me. And obviously when you're doing this and you've got all the covers, now's a great opportunity to just make sure that you grease up all the nipples, because they are things that can get forgotten about, especially when you've got to, you know, take so many bolts to get at them as such. So yeah, I'm just making sure I get all that stuff done too. That is the vlog for this week. Yeah, this is really showing the realities of being a sole trader in an outdoor industry. It's this is certainly not my highlight reel, and I can honestly say I've never had a season like this. I think the big difference with this year to other years is I've had more flexibility. So if we've had a couple of days of being rained out, of course that's happened before, but I've been able to stay out later on the good days. I've been able to work Saturdays, maybe even Sundays in some cases, but obviously now I'm quite often on the school run with nobody else to rely on. The family has to come first, and that means that I might have 2 days of rain and then a lovely day, and I just can't get out to it. So you know, that is the things I'm juggling, and you know, for some people that's just not an issue, but there we go. It will turn, it will change, it will you know, the boys will be eventually old enough to see themselves to school and see themselves back. So for the moment I've just got to go with it, and you will always get annoying clients. It's the way it goes. It's just acting swiftly on them. I've let this lady go far too long, but I won't tolerate people not paying their invoices, whether they think I've overcharged them or not, which I totally haven't. And for something of £7.50 is just ridiculous. It's penny pinching at the highest form. And you know, when you're struggling to get by and stuff like that, and you've got someone who's clearly living in a multi-million-pound house to be arguing the toss over £7.50, it's not happening. So yeah, there we are. Hope you guys have had a good week. I'd love to do a positive video one week, but I don't know when that'll be. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.